Good evening, Cecil TV. I'm Grant Handley, your political correspondent. Joining me today is Dianne Heath, Board of Education candidate, District 1. Dianne, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, a lot of people are just now tuning into politics. It's always popular this time of year in November. So for those who are unfamiliar with you, please just kind of walk us through your background here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Again, like you said, I am running for Board of Education District 1. District 1 is kind of the Bohemian Manor district. And I do want to make sure that everyone is aware that even though I'm District 1, the entire county does vote. We're at large. We vote at large. So just make sure that you go out and vote. My background, I was born and raised here in Cecil County. I graduated from Elkton High School.
There you go, okay.
And then I went on to college at Salisbury University, and I have a bachelor's degree in business administration from there. I came back to Cecil County and started working at one of the large financial institutions in Delaware, and I worked there until I transitioned into being a full-time mom.
Okay.
I have 4 kids, all graduated from Bohemian Manor, and have either gone to college or graduated from college. I have 2 in medical school right now.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
So education has been so important to me and to my family. I've been a big part of Cecil County education from day one. I attended Cecil County Public Schools. My mom worked in Cecil County Public Schools. My husband graduated from Northeast, and all my kids, like I said, graduated from Bow Manor. So I really care about our schools. I care about our students. I volunteer in our schools still now. Every Monday and Thursday, you'll find me in a kindergarten class or a first grade class, depending on the day.
That's sweet.
And I love being with the kids. Yeah. So that's
great.
A little bit about me.
It's pretty comprehensive. If elected to another term on the school board, what would be your priorities?
So I think school safety is at the top of the list right now.
Sure.
In our country, obviously. And I feel like it's paramount. Our kids have to feel safe in order to feel like they can learn. So I think that would be one of my top priorities. Of course, academic achievement. They're there for a reason.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
So, and then funding our schools. We need to fund our schools. We need to make sure that we have the programs that we want, and we need to work on our class sizes.
Right. Some interesting things you touched on here, and we'll kind of jump around. But let's start with kind of the internal CCPS issues you just brought up, and that was safety and class sizes. Could you just maybe walk us through what those solutions could be at CCPS? Sure.
So safety, I think, comes in some different areas.
Right.
First and foremost, when everyone thinks safe, like our safe and secure entrances, making sure that there's no bullying and things like that are going on, like just so that our kids feel like they're parents feel like they're safe sending their kids there, and our kids are safe there. And we have done, like I said, all our schools now have our safe entrances.
You have to get into an
Northeast.
Office, right?
Right. You have to go in to do that first. Exactly. We also have started at some of we piloted at Elkton our weapons detection system. So we are also ordering 4 more of those, so that any of our big events with large crowds, people can walk through.
So is that for like football games?
Football
and things
games,
like that?
and they're movable, so we can use them at basketball games as well. Any of those big events like that.
Is that being used on a day-to-day basis as for I'm attending school, or is it just for these big events?
Just for the big events.
Okay.
Currently just for the big events. Excuse me. And then another big part is mental health.
Right.
So we need more counselors, and I think that class size is another thing that really has a lot to do with our teachers having a smaller class size can see what's happening with our kids.
Right.
That's the other part.
Okay, all really interesting stuff. Thank you. Fund CCPS. You have to be living under a rock to not be familiar with it during the primary. It was a huge, huge movement. How does a school board balance the need to provide a quality education with also the understanding that there is only so much tax revenue to go around?
Mm-hmm. First, I'd really like to thank everyone who supported our schools and supported our budget. in our last budget session. Fund CCPS was pivotal in that, and really appreciate all that was done there. It's a hot topic, right? I mean, we have the blueprint in Maryland, which is going to be expensive, and we know that. And this is one of the reasons why I feel like having experienced board members like Tierney Davis and myself reelected is so important. We need to know what's been happening and to be able to advocate for our schools. I think it's really important, and it's going to be even more important in the next 4 years, to have our county and our state and our school board be able to come together and figure out how we pay for the blueprint, how we prioritize the blueprint. So we're going to have to, there is only so much money, absolutely. And so prioritizing and making sure that we get the things that, first and foremost, that are going to benefit our students first, that we focus in on those things.
Okay. You also touched on student achievement being a critical aspect of any school system. How can it not be? Do you have any concerns regarding student achievement as of right now? And if there are, could you just expand on that?
Sure, of course. I think we have a really good school system. Like I said, I have 4 children who went through the school system, and I think what you put into it, you're going to get out, just like most things in life, right?
Sure.
And I think we have great teachers and great administrators. But of course, we can always do better. And I think we've had some scores that we are funded 23rd, 24th, and we always outperform our funding. So we're always around 17, 16 in our performance, and that's great.
These are out of counties and across the state.
Out of counties, so there's 24 counties, and we're funded 23rd, 24th, but we outperform it. We're around the 17th. Thing, which is great. Still not good enough, right? We want it to be better every single year, better. So we're doing some things. Our math scores are nowhere near where I want them to be. We're working on piloting some new math curriculum, so we're doing that. And we also are trying to get our class sizes smaller groups, one-on-one. That's great for our students. The other thing that I have been really pushing is volunteers, getting our volunteers back into our classroom. After COVID, we lost a lot of volunteers, not allowing people in the schools. But they're important, and that's why I'm going in. Dr. Lawson is now going in and volunteering as well, and we would love our community members to get back in there. Parental involvement and volunteering is going to be key to helping our students as well.
Dianne, a real kind of hot topic you've seen, not so much specific to CCPS, but I think in public education in general, is the role of topics such as sex education, bullying, mental health, all those things, and what role do the school systems kind of serve in providing that education, specifically when or how they go about it. So what is kind of your perspective on the role of the school teaching and discussing topics such as that?
So I mean, we have certain laws that we have to follow as a school board, and I will follow those laws, absolutely. But for our school system, it always has been. It's the history of our school system, and I will continue to push for that. Is parental involvement. Our parents need to know what's happening. We need transparency. We need them involved. The number one, one of the top things that can tell whether a child's going to be a success in their school is how much their parents are involved. So we need our parents involved in all the decisions, and that's what we have tried to do as a board currently, and I would continue to do.
So you hope that parental input kind of creates some sort of solution where everybody's on board with when and where these certain topics are getting talked
Absolutely.
about. Okay. What do you see as the primary work of the Board of Education?
So the Board of Education is there to develop and evaluate policy, make sure it follows our mission. Evaluate and select superintendents. And then to promote our public education and advocate for our kids. So, and I really emphasize the promoting education and our kids. That's where we should be. It shouldn't be partisan. It is a nonpartisan position because our politics shouldn't be there, and we're there for our students.
Absolutely. Dianne, as we wrap up today, what is kind of your final comments or your final pitch to voters ahead of November?
I guess my my pitch would be go out and vote. Early vote, vote on November 5th. Read about your candidates, make sure you know them. I've spent the last 4 years committed to our public schools, to our students, and I will continue to do that.
Okay.
So I'd love to have your vote.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, just a note from our producer, we've reached out to Sam Davis multiple times to be interviewed, but never received a response. So Dianne, thank you for coming to the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you
Best of
so
luck.
much for having me.